door's locked. Wait, Sin, put that spear down. Professor Ming, do something.
I've never come across anything like this before. Let me see.
Aren't instruments meant to be played? What if we try playing the ones that match the patterns on the wall? I've got a hunch this might just work. See? Told you. Just follow the wall patterns and play the matching instruments. Easy. Coward!
Again? All right. So how do we play these instruments this time? Let's take a closer look at the walls. Some of these patterns might be the key. How about we double-check the patterns and play the instruments from right to left?
Is this some kind of writing too? It looks nothing like the ones in books. At least the characters in textbooks are made up of straight lines. These, though, look more like a swarm of ants scrambling around.
This is an ancient script. So old that even people from centuries ago regarded it as ancient. Some of these characters are so obscure that even I can only decipher bits and pieces.
The Emperor rules over all the land, establishing laws and decrees, while his ministers diligently carry them out. When he first unified the realm under heaven, everyone, from the rivers to the seas, submitted without exception.
Seems like Miss Zero has a better grasp of ancient texts than I do.
I can understand the meaning, but I don't know the historical context behind it.
The first part is just typical praise, extolling Zixa's achievements in founding the kingdom. Nothing remarkable there. But the latter sections? Those would certainly pique the interest of historians. These records suggest that the chime bells were made during the so-called Tianli Regency.
Tianli? Regency? Does this have anything to do with those Tianli clan members we ran into before?
It does. The Tianli clan is an ancient lineage that has lasted through the ages. Legend has it that after Zixia established his capital, he spent years traveling, neglecting state affairs. During that time, Legion, the leader of the Tianli clan, known as the Lord of Weaponry, served as regent in his place.
Wait a minute. If Jixia and Legion were so close back then, why does the Tianli clan now speak Jixia's name like it's something sour on their tongues?
forces and fire.
I remember seeing some patterns on the walls in the hallway earlier. Let's go check them out again.
Oh, yeah, there are patterns. If we follow the path we came from and play the instruments from right to left, it might work. How about we double check the patterns and play the instruments from right to left? We've been banging on so many instruments since. My arms are killing me. Hey, Professor Ming, what are you staring at?
While you all were making a racket, I went ahead and scanned through some inscriptions on these ritual artifacts. If these inscriptions are true, then the Lord of Weaponry's reign was unimpressive. No, scratch that. It was downright atrocious. One inscription says that Legion mistakenly levied double the usual grain tax on the tribe that made this particular bronze vessel. When their leader protested, Legion admitted he had miscalculated but didn't seem to care. Instead of returning the excess, he just promised to waive next year's taxes.
So, he took double this year and then just decided not to tax them next year? What if his subjects starve because of that?
The inscription doesn't say. Oh, and then there's this bronze plate. According to the inscription, it was supposed to be a gift for a vassal in the south. But the Tianli clan messed up and had it sent to a vassal in the north instead. To make it worse, that northern vassal was in the middle of hosting his son's wedding. And according to their customs, large bronze plates like this were used to offer sacrifices to the dead. The northern vassal was furious. He smashed the plate to pieces and had his envoy haul the fragments all the way back to Qingyu City. Legion didn't get angry about it. He just patched the plate back together and sent it off to the southern vassal like nothing had happened. By the time the plate showed up, the southern vassal was holding a lavish banquet for his people, and right in front of all his guests, the gift from Qingyu City turned out to be a shattered plate, an outright slap in the face. He took it as a direct insult, so he had the whole ordeal etched into the plate as a permanent reminder for future generations to never forget the shame. Long story short, maybe Legion was quite adept at ruling the Tianli clan, but when it came to governing the new world unified by Zisha, he was totally out of his depth.
What happened after that?
Actually, the ritual vessels we passed by earlier might not have all been crafted in the same era. Depending on the era and the ruler, the inscriptions might reveal different takes on the same event. But despite the differences in the accounts, the story remains essentially the same. Once Legion seized absolute power, criticism of his rule grew louder, and eventually, he was overthrown by the court officials and the royal family. When Zisha, who had been wandering for years, finally returned, he was forced to clean up the mess Legion had left behind. By then, Legion had stirred up so much public resentment that if Zisha hadn't stepped in just in time to restore order, the Empire might have fallen apart. According to the records, as soon as he returned, he wasted no time purging the Tianli clan from the court, and the people cheered when it happened.
And what happened to Li Jun?
One account says that after being ousted, Li Jun refused to accept his fate. He tried to take up arms against Zisha, but Zihong, Xisha's general at the time struck him down. Oh, and by the way, most of these chime bells were made after Xisha returned. Their inscriptions all revolve around one theme: the Eternal Palace.
The Eternal Palace?
The name says it all. It was meant to be a sacred place where Xisha and his clansmen would live in peace and prosperity forever. Historians have always been captivated by it. According to the scattered records left behind, the palace is said to be a place of unparalleled grandeur, overflowing with treasures. Ancient legends paint a vivid picture of it. They say the palace has rivers made of liquid mercury, a starry sky paved with luminous pearls, and eternal lanterns burning with oil extracted from mermaids. There's always been speculation that the Eternal Palace is just a deferential euphemism for the imperial tomb where Xisha lies in eternal rest. Of course, we now know that Xisha is still alive. But what's strange is that despite all these detailed descriptions passed down through the ages, there's no trace of the palace anywhere in or around Qingyu City.
A hidden treasure! Now this is way more interesting than a history lesson. Has anyone ever found it?
Nope. People have searched for generations, but no one's ever uncovered anything. Well, except for one possible lead, the Tianli clan.
Why does it always circle back to them?
Because, according to legend, the Tianli clan, known for their masterful craftsmanship, were the ones who constructed the Eternal Palace. Because of the political corruption during the Tianli Regency period, the entire clan was branded as sinners and forced to build the palace as a form of penance for their crimes.
Oh, once their restaurant opens, I'm definitely gonna swing by and see if I can dig up some info on this.
That was thousands of years ago. Now, they're just regular people, living their lives like anyone else. Just like how we can't separate the fact from fiction in Xisha's story. They probably have no clue what their ancestor did all those years ago either.
Miss Ming,
Huh?
are these records really true?
That's a pretty broad question, Miss Zero. History is the sum of all human experiences, and it can be just as complicated as the nature of humans. Every artifact around us, and every inscription etched into them, holds someone's version of the truth. However, if we shift the perspective or the storyteller, those very records could quickly turn into nothing but a tangled web of lies. That's what makes history so profound and fascinating. Qingyu City is definitely hiding secrets we can't even begin to imagine.